Your brain built a prison to keep you safe, but now you can't get out of that prison. Let me show you where the key is so you can unlock the door. This is Richie Rich. You know, I no longer feel the fire on my ankles as I escape the hell I was living in years ago. Addiction, alcoholism, the streets. And now I'm here on YouTube trying to help other people do the same. That's the mission of get up and fight back. But check this out. You're lying in bed at 2 a.m. and your brain won't shut off. It's running multiple scenarios. It's running what if scenarios. What if you lose your job tomorrow? What if the test you took last week, you fail? What if your boyfriend or girlfriend leaves you? What if you said the wrong thing at dinner tonight? What if your car breaks down tomorrow? What if? And every what if scenario ends in disaster. Your chest is tight. Not a pain tight, but like something heavy is sitting on it. Your jaw is clenched up. Like you just hit a bag and your jaw jacking. Anyway, sorry guys. Your shoulders are up by your ears. Like you're in a boxing match. And you just notice that you've been tensed up all day. You avoid things, big things, or at least they didn't start out as big. You skip social interactions, parties, bars, as much as you can because the thought of making small talk makes you want to earl. You don't apply for that job you want because if you don't get that job, that rejection, it'll make you want to drink a fifth. And good things don't happen when you drink a fifth. You don't have that conversation with the person you need to have that conversation with because every time you've played out that conversation in your head, it doesn't end well. And then multiple times throughout the day, there are these moments. The moments where your heart starts pounding out of nowhere, where the room feels wrong. Any room you walk in feels like something bad's about to happen. And your heart rate increases. You start tensing up. And you start thinking that something terrible is going to happen. But you can't name what it is. You just know something bad is about to happen. You can feel it in your bones. You experience that multiple times every day. People tell you to relax, to breathe, to chill the fuck out, take a chill pill, and you want to scream and cuss their ass out because if you could stop, if you could just stop, don't they think you would have stopped by now? Don't you think you would have chilled out by now? You're anxious, but you're not anxious because you want to be. You're anxious because your brain is running an alarm. Your brain is running an alarm system that won't turn off. And the worst part of that is that alarm system in your brain thinks it's saving your life. It thinks it's protecting you. If your brain won't let you rest and you're exhausted from being ready for threats all day long, stay with your boy because what's happening in your skull, what's happening in your brain has a name and a solution. It's anxiety. Anxiety is the most common health disorder on the planet. The World Health Organization reports that it estimates that over 300 million people worldwide are living with living with an anxiety disorder. Here in the United States, 1 in 3 adults at some point in their life will experience an anxiety attack. But here's what makes anxiety different from the other things we've talked about in the videos I've shot for this channel. I shot a video about depression. Depression is a weight. I shot a video about addiction. Addiction is a hijacking. I shot a video about grief, which I just shot. Grief is a wound. Anxiety though, anxiety is a prison, and it was built on purpose. Your brain genuinely believes that the walls it built are keeping you safe. That's what makes it so hard to escape, because you're not fighting an enemy. You're fighting your own brain. You're fighting your own neurology. You're fighting a security system that thinks it's doing its job. The science of anxiety starts in one place. A structure deep in the center of your brain, the size of a fucking almond. And once you understand what that almond does and why it won't stop doing it, everything about your anxiety will start to make sense. Let me introduce to you the thing that's been running your life, or ruining your life for that matter. Deep in the temporal lobe of your brain, there are two small almond-shaped pad clusters of neurons. They're called the amygdala, and I've mentioned the amygdala several times in all the videos I've shot on this channel. It showed the amygdala I talked about in the depression video, the grief video, the addiction video, but this video in particular, the amygdala takes center stage. It's the star, because the amygdala is your brain's alarm system. And with people with anxiety, the alarm, it's stuck in the on position. That's not how it's supposed to work. Here's how it's supposed to work. You encounter something dangerous, a loud noise, a strange person you don't like, an unfamiliar situation. The amygdala fires. It sends a signal to your hypothalamus, which activates your sympathetic nervous system. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense up, your breathing gets shallow. Your body is preparing to fight the threat or run from it. Depends on your fight or flight response. Once the threat passes, your prefrontal cortex, that's the rational thinking part of your brain, the rational part of your brain that's sitting right behind your forehead. You ain't got a forehead, you got a five. I'm sorry. About all the Benjamins. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I got ADHD, guys. So, your prefrontal cortex evaluates the situation. It tells the amygdala, we're safe, you can stand down, we're good. The alarm turns off, your body returns to normal. That's the way it's supposed to work, if it's working correctly. The fire alarm goes off, the fire chief says there's no fire, your alarm goes off, life continues. But here's what happens when the alarm system is broken. If you grew up in an environment where threats were real and danger was constant, where the people who were supposed to protect you were the ones creating the danger, your amygdala learned to treat everything as a potential threat. Like I said in all my videos, actually, or a lot of my videos, the shit we learn the shit we do as adults, we learn as children, as little humans, little tiny humans. Most of the things that we learned were before we can even fucking talk. Neuroscientists at Harvard has shown that prolonged childhood stress and trauma actually changes the physical structure of the brain. The amygdala can become enlarged and hyperactive. The prefrontal cortex, which is the brake pedal, it's the fire chief. The prefrontal cortex can become thinner and smaller. Its connections to the amygdala can become weakened. The alarm system gets louder, the brake pedals get weaker. So when someone tells you to chill the fuck out, calm down, take a chill pill, breathe, they're telling someone with an overactive alarm and a worn out brake pedal to just stop faster. That the equipment you need to stop faster to do what they're asking you to do to chill the fuck out isn't working at full capacity. Your brain isn't broken. It was calibrated for a world that was actually dangerous. The problem, it never got recalibrated when you left that dangerous environment and you grew up. It's like a smoke detector, and it fucking goes off every time you make fucking toast. That alarm system isn't malfunctioning. It was tuned for a kitchen that was on fire when you were a kid. Now you're an adult, and now you got your own kitchen, but that smoke detector doesn't know that. So your alarm is stuck in the on position, and your body is doing something with that alarm signal, and the thing it's doing explains a lot more than you realize. Most people have heard of the fight or flight response. Two of them. But the stress response system, there's actually four. And the one your body defaults to in a dangerous situation says everything about what you've been through in your life. Number one, fight is the aggressive response. Your body decides that the threat can be taken on. Muscles tense up, jaw clenches without hitting the bag. Adrenaline surges. In everyday life, fight shows up as rage, irritability, explosiveness, anger over small things, and the need to control every fucking thing through the force of personality. Flight is the escape response. Your body decides that the best move is to get away. It shows up as restlessness, the urge to leave, can't sit still. In everyday life, flight is avoidance, avoiding conversations, avoiding opportunities. Workaholics, running from emotional pain by staying constantly busy. Substance use, chemically running from feelings you can't outrun physically. The freeze response. Freeze is the shutdown response. Your body calculates that you can't fight, and you can't fight, but you can run, so it's shut down. Think of a deer in headlights with this one. In everyday life, freeze shows up as dissociation, numbness, inability to make decisions, procrastination. The state where you know what you need to do, but you physically cannot make yourself do it. You can't make a decision. You can't do nothing. And then there's Fawn. This one was identified by a therapist named Peter Walker, and it might be the most relevant for people who grew up in chaos, for people who grew up in chaotic homes. Fawn is the people-pleasing response. Your body calculates that the best course of action, the best way to survive, is to appease the threat. Make the threat happy. Give the threat what it wants. Become whatever the threat needs you to be. In everyday life, Fawn shows up as chronic people pleasing, inability to say no, loss of identity, and that deep fear that if you stop being useful, people will leave your ass. Here's the part that changes everything. Your default response was trained into you. You didn't choose it for yourself. Your nervous system ran the calculations based on what worked best for you in your original environment when you were a kid. A child with an angry parent might learn fight, matching aggression with aggression, or freeze, going still and silent to avoid escalation, or Fawn, becoming the perfect child to prevent explosions from their parent. A child who was abandoned might learn Might learn flight. Someone's always ready to leave, or leave them, or Fawn, doing whatever it takes to make people stay. The calculation, the calculations was made by a child's brain in the most extreme of circumstances, and your adult brain is still running that same old programming in situations where it no longer applies. My response, my default program was fight, because I still run it to this day. 10 years sober, third floor apartment, and my nervous system still acts like someone's gonna kick in my fucking door. I grew up in a world where fear wasn't in your head. It was at your fucking front door, or at your back door. When you're selling dope and running in the streets, fear is practical. Fear keeps you alive. You learn to read a room in seconds. Who's carrying? Who's holding? Where are the exits? How many people are in here? What will happen if they all fucking jump me? You learn to sleep light, because the girl you're laying next to might not be who the fuck she says she is, and she's actually going to get your ass set up to be robbed. Which actually happened to me. I'm putting a video at a later date. I was seeing this stripper, and she set me up, man. I'll make a video about that. But anyway, it wasn't peaceful in the moments before. It was peaceful in the moments before something happened. My nervous system didn't learn anxiety from a textbook. It learned it from actual real world experience. Repeated, violent, real experience. I once had a gun pointed at my forehead. I could still feel the cold steel on my skull. That dude pulled the trigger too, and the fucking gun jammed. I've had my neck sliced wide open. I should have bled out. I've had my ribs broken with a baseball bat. A couple guys beat me pretty good. I've had people try to kick in my back door while I was inside with my baby mama. That last one, the door kicking in, let me tell you about that one. Because that one wrote a rule in my head, a rule in my brain that has never left. It's never been erased, and I'm still running that same thing today. I was working the trap, my spot. I guess you guys might call it the plug nowadays. I always barricaded the back door because I was selling drugs. One day, me and my baby mama came home. We were walking through the front door, and I could hear, there was two of them back there. I could hear two people back there kicking the fucking door in real time. So I grabbed my shotgun and ran them off. Anyway, the barricade that I had built for the back door, that it worked. The fucking back door didn't break in. They were kicking it hard. At that moment, my brain took a lesson from that barricade. It said the barricade works. And the day you stop barricading your door is the day someone gets through and hurts you. That was over 2 decades ago. I've been sober for 10 years, but I live in a third floor apartment. There is no rational reason for anyone to come kick in my door nowadays. My daughter tells me all the time, Dad, nobody's climbing up the third floor balcony to kick the back door to the balcony open. She looks at me like I'm fucking crazy. But the back door is, the door to the balcony is barricaded. When I go to sleep, both doors are barricaded, and I sleep with the heat under my pillow. That's called hypervigilance. That's the amygdala running a program. It doesn't know how to shut off, and it goes deeper. An old friend of mine, we were sitting on his porch one day drinking beer, hitting the bag. I think a loud noise went off on a construction site. and I flinched, like, he didn't flinch, and he used to be in the army, and he went to Iraq a few times. Yeah, I think he did 2 tours over there. That motherfucker didn't flinch. I did. Like, that dude was in the actual war zone, and he didn't flinch. I did. But I didn't. He said, "What the hell's wrong with you?" But I played it off. I didn't say what actually happened. My default survival response, the one my nervous system chose as a child, was fight. And then the streets reinforced that shit. Be aggressive. Be ready. Hit first. Try to control the situation through force. And when fight didn't work, I went to flight. Chemical escape when physical escape wasn't available. You can have more than one response. Hell, you could have all 4 of them at different times for different things, for different situations. But I learned freeze. I didn't learn freeze because freezing in my world would get your ass toe tagged. And I never learned Fawn because the people around me back in the day didn't reward compliance. They exploited it. Fight and flight. That's all I had. And those 2 responses ran my life for decades. The aggression destroyed my relationships. The flight destroyed my body. 10 years sober, the program still runs. I don't act on it the way I used to, but it's still there. The flinching, the barricades, the scanning of the room when I walk into it. My daughter's look on her face when I check the locks for the 3rd time in a row in the last 5 minutes. My daughter says, I always think people are out to get me because I always had to look over my back when I was in the streets for all those years. And she's right. But the wiring changes. It just changes slow. I wish it did, but it does. I know this because there are rooms I can sit in now without freaking the fuck out. I can be around a large group of people, which I am at work, without freaking out. There's a silence I can now tolerate that used to make my skin crawl. So the alarm still goes off. But I'm getting better at being the fire chief. That's what anxiety looked like to me. It was built in a world where death was daily. You could die. It was a violent world. Reprogramming your fight or flight response is you can do it. It can be recalibrated for a different environment. This is it's neuroscience. When you stop fighting your anxiety, you stop seeing it as a flaw. You start seeing it as an outdated program. You start shifting from you don't know what's going on to strategy. Learn your default survival response. Are you fight, flight, freeze, or fawn? Most people have a primary and a secondary. Knowing yours is the first step to catching it before it fires off. You can't interrupt the program that you don't recognize. Start paying attention to what your body does when you feel threatened, not what you think. You can You can strengthen the brake pedal. The prefrontal cortex can be rebuilt. Neuroplasticity is real, which I got a playlist I'm working on about neuroplasticity. It's quite fascinating, actually, to me, the way the brain can rewire itself. Meditation. Researchers at Harvard has shown that even 5 minutes of meditation a day can strengthen the prefrontal cortex. It can grow new neural pathways. Simple exercises like naming your emotion out loud, like I'm feeling anxious right now, activates the prefrontal cortex and reduces the amygdala reactivity. Researchers at UCLA call this the effect labeling, putting feelings into words. Literally calms the alarm. Stop avoiding your triggers. I know that sounds ass backwards, but avoidance feeds the anxiety. Every time you avoid something dangerous that scares you, your amygdala records that as a win. We avoided the threat. We survived. Then your world gets smaller. The prison in your head gets tighter. Gradual, controlled exposure to the things you fear is what researchers call exposure therapy. It's the most evidence-based treatment for anxiety, actually. You don't jump in the deep end. You slowly wade in, one step at a time, and every step that doesn't kill you rewrites the alarm in your head. And the last advice would be to move, exercise. One of the most potent anti-anxiety interventions that exist is exercise. It burns off adrenaline, it burns off cortisol. Those are the chemicals that your stress response is flooding your body with when you're scared. Exercise triggers the endorphins, and it gives your nervous system proof that physical activation doesn't have to mean danger. You can have an elevated heart rate and nothing bad happens. So that's retraining the alarm. The prison your brain built was a survival strategy, and it kept you alive in a world that was actually dangerous. And for that, you should thank it. It's working the way it should. Your nervous system did its job, but your world changed. Your alarm did. Your world has changed, your alarm hasn't gotten the memo. You don't have to live inside that prison forever, the one in your head. The walls are made of neural pathways, and neural pathways can be rewritten. Not overnight, not painlessly, but the same brain that built that prison that you're in is the same brain that can dismantle that prison you're in. Every time you name the fear instead of running from it, you're weakening the walls. Every time you sit with discomfort inside instead of avoiding it, you're loosening the studs. Every time you choose action over avoidance, you're walking through a door your brain told you was locked. So, the key to the prison was never outside of you. It's the same brain that built it. You just need to teach it that the danger has passed. You need to teach it you got a different kitchen. You got your own fucking kitchen. If you've been living in that prison, if your brain has been running that high alert and you're exhausted from it 24/7, drop a comment. Tell me what alarm system you got. I'll read the comments. Tell me what you avoid. Tell me your fears. If you know someone who has anxiety, send them this video. Anxiety, it won't go away on its own. You have to do something about it. So I've done videos on depression, grief, the mask. Next week I'll do the video I'm working on next week is about anger, because some of you guys aren't anxious. You're fucking angry. And so the next week's is about anger, rage. This is Richie Rich. This is Get Up and Fight Back. If you guys are going to drink tonight, please don't drive. If you're going to do drugs, please don't do them alone. I want you to get clean. But when you're out in the world, as I said in the video, always scanning the room. You gotta watch your back when you're out here in the world, because people will kill you nowadays and not give two fucks about it. They won't even think twice. Tell your loved ones you love them. Tell your loved ones how much they mean to you, because tomorrow's not promised. And if you've lost someone, if you've ever lost anyone, you know that to be true. Anyway, guys, this is Get Up and Fight Back. I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll check you guys out on the next one. I love y'all. Peace. Yo, I just made the anxiety video, and I forgot to throw something in there. So at work, I drive a truck, and when I get in the truck after somebody else, they got all the lights on in the truck, and I got to cut them all off. And this goes back to that video. I forgot to throw that in there. I want to throw it in there now. I work at night, so I try to move like a criminal. Like at night, I try to remain unseen. I try to move in the shadows. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to I don't want to draw any attention to me. And having all those fucking lights on in the truck does that. Like at night, there's more high probability that your ass is going to get robbed. I don't want to draw no more attention to me. All the lights are cut off. And that goes back to this video about anxiety, how I'm still running the old programming I was running when I was being a criminal in these streets. I'm still running that old program, and it blows my mind when I get in that truck. I think about the mass majority of people. They didn't grow up like that, so they don't have that self-awareness maybe. I don't know, but that's what I do, man. At night, like, I don't want to be seen. I want to remain a ghost at night, even though I'm driving that big ass truck. I don't want to draw any attention to me, because I'm trying to avoid confrontation. Stick up kids, we called them stick up kids back in my day. They work at night. Sometimes they work during the day because they think your ass is at work. That's when they go. That's when they go in your house. But stick up kids mostly work at night, and what they do is they steal shit, and then they go take it to the dope man. They get dope for it, or they get money for it. I know, because I used to deal with them all the time. Hell, them motherfuckers would rob me, 3 days later show up at my crib and sell me some shit, and I wouldn't say anything to them because they think I didn't know. But that was the game. You played within those Anyway, we get besides the point. But yeah, so like them truck drivers, man, I just get in the truck, man, and I'm just like, man, what? Cut these fucking lights off, dude. You're gonna get fucking robbed. You're gonna get hit over the head because you probably got your music blaring and all kind of shit. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in. I meant to say that before I started making the video, but as you will soon learn about me, my memory is fucking gone. I can't remember what I did 5 minutes ago. Anyway, guys, Get Up and Fight Back. I just want to throw that in there. making them videos are fucking hard too. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna check y'all out on the next one. I love y'all. Peace.